Hey guys, my name is Shirley and welcome back to my channel where it's all about helping you achieve your goals. Now I know I've been gone for way too long. I've been MIA for a whole month and I really do apologize, but listen, some of us are natural born extroverts and this whole corona business has just been a bit of a challenge to get through, but I'm back now, gonna be bringing you even more and better content. While I was gone, I did notice that we hit over 500 subscribers. Like, what? That's insane. Just wanted to thank you so much to everyone who's new to the fam. Thank you so much for subscribing, and if you haven't subscribed, make sure you click the subscribe button below and join the fam. I really do appreciate each and every single one of you. Today I'm going to be taking you through 5 of the books that have absolutely changed my life. I love reading, I love books. I feel like the person I am today has been largely shaped by the books that I've read. Please note, I'm not going to be saying any spoilers or anything like that. I'm just going to try to keep things quite generic so that if you do want to pick up the book yourself, things aren't spoiled for you, so don't worry about spoilers throughout this video. So the first book that has absolutely changed my life, and that is my favorite book of all time, is Black Privilege by Charlemagne. I know that the title can be quite a bit provoking. I just did want to say, even if you're not somebody of color or if you're not somebody who's black, you will find a lot of value from this book. It's not a book that's attacking any culture or anything like that. It's essentially just a book of how Charlemagne built his life from the ground up. He talks about how he was raised in a neighborhood where essentially majority of the outcome for people's lives was to either end up in jail, dead, or drunk and wasted somewhere. So he just talks about how he really had absolutely nothing to start from, how he worked and went to get internships, was making all these sacrifices, and eventually built himself up to where he is now, of which is like a big radio sensation in the US. I'm pretty sure a lot of people would know of him. What I really love about it is just how sheer and honest it is. There's a point in this book that he talks about internships. Once I read that chapter, I started applying for internships at different places, and I eventually got an internship working in talent acquisition, and that has essentially propelled and kickstarted my career. If I didn't take that internship, or if I didn't do or go out to seek that internship, I don't think I would be where I am in my career. Now, the next book that I'm going to talk about, I actually listened to it on Audible, and it is Atomic Habits by James Clear. Guys, if you haven't read this book, what are you doing with your life? It is such an amazing book. It's essentially about habit formation, how to create good habits, how to implement good habits, and how to stick to good habits. One of the main things that I really took out from it is this whole idea of the 1% rule, where he talks about how the biggest mistake that some of us make when we're implementing new goals or we're trying to implement new habits is we do too much. We want to do big habits, we want to do it all at once and things like that. But he talks about how they have to be atomic habits, so tiny habits but that have big impacts. So he talks about, why don't we just aim to be 1% better each day? When I'm going to the gym, I shouldn't be aiming to be like 1,000 times better workout than I did last time, because that's not maintainable. But he talks about, you know, just doing 1% better each day over the trajectory of your life. That's going to make such a big impact. And another thing I love about this book is it's got that really nice storytelling tone to it. Sometimes I feel like these books about habits and psychology and stuff, they can tend to be very sciencey, and I don't like reading books that are too sciencey. And then sometimes if they're not too sciencey, they just tend to be very wishy-washy, very generic things and things like that. But I feel like James Clear really hit a balance here. He speaks about the science, he speaks about things that are evidence-based, but he tells it in a way that's very easy to understand, and he has a storytelling nature throughout the book as well. So it's not like you're reading a narrative, but he really does bring you on a journey throughout this whole book. So highly recommend. Out of all the books on habit formation that I've read, this by far takes the lead. Now, the next book that I want to talk about is Make It Stick. It's an absolutely amazing book for students or for anyone who's a lifelong learner. Essentially, I've spoken about this book before in other videos, but essentially it just talks about how to learn effectively. So a lot of us, we've always been taught, go study, but no one ever really teaches us about exactly what are the most effective study methods. And this book really talks about science and evidence-based research on things on studying. So one of the big myths that it talks about is how a lot of people make notes, and then he challenges that and says making notes is not really the most effective way of studying. So he talks about things like active recall, spaced repetition, interleaving, and all that kind of stuff. So I highly recommend this book for students. It can be a bit sciencey. There's a lot of parts in this book where he gives some examples that I really didn't care too much on reading, so I just skipped that. But overall, with this book, it's really helped me change the way that I study. Next book that I want to talk about as well is The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry by John Mark. And guys, this book just came into my life exactly when I needed it. I was going at 1,000 miles an hour. I didn't understand balance. I wasn't getting enough sleep. I was always feeling drained. This book really challenges hustle culture. This book really helped me and taught me to slow down. Now, this book is written from a Christian perspective. If you're not a Christian, again, I still feel like you can get a lot of value from this book. But for me, it really talks about bringing things back to the pace of grace, bringing things back to God's original design of how we were meant to be going through things. So things like running to catch a train, I don't do that anymore. Like, it's okay, I'll just catch the next bus. And I've noticed that when I do that, I get into work and I'm so rejuvenated. I'm not worried, I'm not stressed. I'm sitting on the train and I'm not sweating or smelling or anything like that. And I feel like in the culture that we're in, that's always teaching us to go, 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 this is a book that's really helpful and really did help me get back to balance and sanity in my life. The final book that I want to talk about is How to Be a Boss by Lily Singh. This was important for me because it was my first exposure to the self-development space. I would say that this book is for a bit of a younger audience, but still, if you're somebody who's a bit older, I still feel like you can get a lot of value from this book. And essentially, it's just all about the main lessons that she's learned in life. So things about, you know, not rushing to get to the top, putting in the hours, getting good sleep, resting, and all that kind of stuff. So it's just a whole holistic book in the land of self-development. I love books about people just really raw and authentic and tell their stories, because for me, when I read someone else's stories and see that they have been able to do it, for me, that inspires me to chase after my goals and things like that. So I feel like if you're maybe looking for something that's entry level in the self-development space, absolutely love this book. I love her honesty. I love how genuine she is. I love how raw and just real she is. So highly recommend this book. Alright guys, so that's pretty much it from me today. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. If you have, make sure to pop that like and subscribe button. It really helps me out a lot. Make sure to turn on your post notifications so that when the next video comes up, you'll be one of the first people to be notified. I will be dropping videos again on a weekly basis, at least one video a week. If possible, I'll drop 2. But yeah, that's pretty much it from me guys. Hopefully you guys have a good one, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.